Hello everybody, I'm Dominodyl. Welcome to my review of Soma. So in an attempt to make this shorter and more concise than my Outlast II review, I'm going to just read off some bullet points here about the game, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to put in what I said immediately after beating the game, which I removed from the final episode because I didn't want to repeat myself, which is a problem that I had with the Outlast II review, so I'm trying to make these better. So, the actual review. I just got some pros, some cons, and some neutral stuff. So, starting off with pros, obviously, story is amazing. Really took center stage here. I'd say it was more about the story than the horror. It was technically a horror game, but man, the story was amazing. And this was helped by some sub-bullet points here. I have great voice acting, great characters, and great readables. Just little stuff you can read. You don't have to, but you can. I didn't read everything in the game, but I read way more than I did in Outlast 2 because I was just way more invested into the story. So the story was amazing, obviously. That's like the best part. But also, as it is a horror game, it was very scary. Obviously, that is subjective, but I would consider it very scary, no doubt. Especially the underwater segments, which aren't really fair because I'm just scared of being underwater in the first place, so it doesn't take much to scare me, but whatever. I mean, I'm playing it to get scared. I got scared, so definitely very scary. And the third pro here I have is pretty good graphics. I think it's good enough to put in my pro section. The only real problem I had with graphics was blocky shadows, which I saw a couple times, which were quite distracting, but other than that, it was pretty great all around. Alright, neutral section. Now, most of these are kind of minor gripes that, don't take to heart too much. Just stuff I kind of wanted to mention. The first one is the technology seems quite out of date for 100 years in the future, but I could also see this as just a way of saying that technology hasn't progressed very much in those 100 years. So it's not really a con, just thought it was worth mentioning that it seems a bit weird how old most of the technology looks, even though it's supposed to be 100 years in the future. My other neutral is the music and just sound design in general is pretty forgettable. The only reason I think I'm really even thinking about it is because I thought that the music in Outlast 2 was pretty great. Probably like one of the strongest points of Outlast 2. So then when I play a game like this where everything is great, but I don't really notice the music, I think it's worth mentioning that the music was kind of not bland necessarily, just forgettable. I couldn't even tell you what the music was like, and I finished it like 16 days ago, and I've completely forgotten all the music, so not great, and, sound, fine, whatever, nothing good enough to mention. And my last neutral is that the game is not very long, which is, I guess I just have to get used to because it was almost exactly the same length as Outlast 2, and it felt longer than Outlast 2, in a good way, but, afterwards I realized it was almost exactly the same length, and that's fine, about 9 hours, a little under 9 hours. To me, that seems short, but it seems like that's what I'm going to be getting, so I'm not going to complain about that too much. It's kind of in the neutral category because I didn't know how to feel about it, so, yeah, whatever. I wish it could be longer. And then my one and only con, because I really did love the game a lot, is that it didn't run very well. Definitely the technical side is where it underperformed the most. It ran quite poorly for both Matt and me. So, that's not preferable. It wasn't horrible, but it was definitely noticeable, and I'm sure you noticed it in the videos. There were lots of frame drops and freezing, even when it wasn't loading, just small stuff that maybe I didn't even notice when I was playing, but it was definitely a problem when I was watching it back. So really, that's the only con I have about this game, which is great. I mean, the game really was fine. The only problem I have is that it didn't run amazing. And sure, I was recording, so it's probably not going to be the same if you're just playing the game by yourself. But considering I was recording and it didn't run as good as I would have liked, had to put it here as a con. So that's all I got written down. So, if I were to score this game, oh my god, it's hard to say. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 just because I don't think any game ever is going to be a 10 out of 10, but man, probably a 9 out of 10, strong 9 out of 10 because Man, I loved it. Really, like, one of my favorite games of all time, I think. The story, really, it hit me more than I expected. It was a lot more potent than I was expecting, I guess. And I went in expecting a lot, but it still kind of blew me away. So, yeah, I loved it. I loved it a lot, and I'm really sad that the series is over. But thank you so much for watching the entire series and this review. And now I'm just going to put in about 2 minutes of what I was talking about while the credits rolled after the game. I cut this out. It was between the first ending with Simon in the ocean and between the Simon in the ark. It was just in between there. It's what I was talking about. It was basically my first thoughts review. And then now this is me putting it into more organized spot. And I just want to put that thing in just so it's there and you can see what I said right after it ended. So thank you so much for watching, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Please don't leave me alone. Catherine? Catherine?
Oh, just leaving it right like that? Oh my god. Well, that was amazing. Probably, well, oh, you know what? No, probably. Out of the 4 horror games I have played so far, including this, Outlast 2, Amnesia, obviously made by the same people, Hatman, and this is by far the best out of the 4 of them. I definitely enjoyed this more than any of the other 3. Wow. Like, I don't even really know how to say how much I liked it just yet. But that was great. I don't even know what to say, really. Just amazing. It was scary when it needed to be. It was just fun when it needed to be. And it was amazing story. I kind of like figured it out about halfway through. But that first half was amazing. Just figuring out what was going on. And then it continued to be amazing for the last approximately half of the game. Now, I think I'm finishing it around 9 hours, which is a good length. It's longer than Outlast 2, longer than Amnesia, and longer than it took me to beat Hatman. So, lengthwise, pretty good. I wish it could have been longer, but, you know, with such a good game, of course I want it to be longer. Whoa, okay. Well, I guess I don't need to see all these credits. Maybe I do, I can't skip them. There we go.